Welcome to Don't Quote Me on That. One day we will have an intro, but today is not that day.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Kalina.
And I'm Elanor.
Welcome back to Don't Quote Me on That, where we kind of talk about movies. And this week, we will, in fact, talk about movies.
We will. We will. At least two.
It's very exciting for us. It never happens.
It never does.
This week, we're doing as you can tell by the title, I hope, a 2025 recap, best of 2025, whatever you want to call it. Just stuff we enjoyed this year through a media lens, of course, because that's why you all tune in,
That's what we do here. Yeah.
allegedly.
So we have some categories. We'll do some chit chatting.
We'll get off topic for sure. So don't
We
worry.
will get off topic. So we're going to really pretend to be on it and we're just going to get started
Into it.
right into it so that we can goof off later. All right. So we're gonna start strong with our most robust topic here, of course. Miss Kalina, what was your favorite movie of 2025?
I put down two because the movie that I watched that was from this year was not probably my favorite of the year, but it's the only movie I can think of that I watched that came out this year, and that was Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I went to see it with my brother because we saw the first one together, and I enjoyed it well enough. I don't know much about the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. I
It's
know
a
the gist.
video game,
Yeah,
and they're animatronics that want to kill you, I think. Also, Josh Hutcherson.
yeah, that's kind of the extent of my knowledge. Although I did watch, to tell you how lovely my job is going right now, I did watch about two 1 hour long videos about the whole Five Nights at Freddy's lore. Did I retain any of that information? No, but it
No.
did pass the time and I got through the workday. So we went to go see Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It was fine. It was like, I think if you were like a big fan of the games, I could see where you'd probably have problems, because my understanding of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is like a lot of the lore is like some things happen, but kind of the exact sequence of events or like the way they should be interpreted
Mhm.
does vary. So I can see where you maybe have some issues there. As like someone who just watched the movie and I've played the game one time in my life, thought it was
It
fun.
was
It
fine.
was like, yeah, it was fine. It was like very, it was kind of like a movie where they bring in a bunch of like ringer actors that you don't know are in there, except the ringer actors were the animatronics from the last movie. Because like in this movie, it was like updated animatronics, but it was like, like now we're teaming up with the people who were trying to kill us in the last movie. Isn't this like that sort of fan service y? I had fun. They like very clearly set it up for a third movie, so we'll probably go see that. But the my favorite movie of the year was Lisa Frankenstein, which we watched for the show.
Oh, that was a good movie.
That was a good movie. I kept coming back to it. Like I wanted to tell people about it. Like, oh my god, I just saw this, and had to stop myself. I was like, this is not new news. But like after we watched it
It's
for like a couple weeks after, I was like, this is a solid movie. I liked it a lot.
well, good. I also I'm glad I didn't put Lisa Frankenstein on here because that was also in the running. I think I watched 4 movies this year. 5 if you count a YouTube parody of a movie.
Okay, we'll give it to you. 4.5.
Uh, yeah, sure. I didn't watch anything. Well, okay. I guess I watched aforementioned YouTube parody. That one came out this year. It's called Hunger Games but Better by I don't remember their name. I'm so sorry. Um, but it was a parody of the Hunger Games, and it was 45 minutes long, which is just a short movie. So, by virtue of being the only thing I watched that came out this year, I'm gonna give that one an honorable mention.
Okay.
Um, the two like real movies I watched this year, um, I watched in the last week. I watched the first Knives Out, which was fine. And then I watched a movie called Wrist Cutters: A Love Story that I quite enjoyed. And so that one is going to be uh, my favorite for the year. It's slim pickings, but
Why was Knives Out only 5? Like I get it. I don't know. I like a
um,
locked room mystery, so I think they're fun.
I think the problem with that is I'm so used to a mystery being able to be wrapped up in like 45 minutes thanks to Law and Order. So after like an hour and a half, I was like, do you really? Can you
This
just
is
call
still
Olivia
going.
Benson and end this, please?
No, because we want to listen to him in his backwoods southern accent for two
No, he did
hours.
not do anything for me. Um,
Shame.
Chris Evans kind of worked for me in that movie, but like,
Oh, I was watching a Captain America Winter Soldier yesterday, and I
oh,
love Chris Evans, Captain America.
Bucky Barnes, if you're free on Thursday, I'm free on Thursday. If you would like to hang out on Thursday when I am free,
I was telling my mom,
bring the arm.
I was like, here's why. It kind of has to go places with him, I think. What's his
I
name?
like
Sebastian Stan,
Sebastian Stan.
who was in a TV show, which is what we are going to talk about next.
Yes. Okay.
Not a TV show that we're
Uh,
going to talk about, but we're talking about TV shows now.
but he's been on TV before.
He's been on TV before, yes.
So in 2025, big year for television, I think. Um, it probably Abbott Elementary is still on, so it's a. Oh my god! Wait, I'm so sorry. I did watch a show from this year. I forgot about it, so it's not on the list. But we get a bonus third one from me, and I'm gonna go first because I just took the moment. Yeah. I just got caught up with Saint Denis, which is a TV show about incompetent people working in a hospital. Well, competent people with an incompetent boss. Um, and it's enjoyable. Um, I love a sitcom, so I'm pretty easy. I don't have whatever streaming service Abbott Elementary is on anymore, so that would be on the list if I had a way to watch it, but I don't right now. So to St. Denis, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's got a scrawny little white boy who used to be in a religious cult, so it's got something for me.
Like in real life or the character? Or
The
both?
character,
Oh, okay.
and he's real cute and real clueless, so I'm happy.
Right up your alley.
Right up my alley. I also watched a show called Ghosts, which is a US version of a UK show about a woman who can see ghosts and lives in a property with said ghosts. Um, it's also enjoyable. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I don't usually like supernaturally type shindig, but Ghosts was good. I don't know the main lady's name in it, but she was also in iZombie, which is another show that I enjoyed but then had to stop watching. Um, and then I also consumed all of Drop Dead Diva this year, which is a fantastic television show about a woman who gets reincarnated as a lawyer.
Yes, you
It's
did explain the plot of that to me at like 9 p.m. while we ate Culver's at your kitchen counter.
okay. Do you want me? I can do it again if you want.
Uh,
It's
I
really
don't have any
good.
Culver's, so
Okay,
let me.
I'll
I
save
gotta
it.
grab that. Yeah, yeah.
But highly recommend. I think I think there's quite a few different like workplace comedies that are good right now. I saw a couple episodes of The Pit on a plane. Don't really recommend watching medical dramas like that on a plane. It's not quite the vibe for it, but I enjoyed that.
I don't like
Um,
medical dramas. I think, and like because you were talking about like incompetent boss, I think they stress me out. I don't. I don't need to know what's
yeah,
going on with my nurses. I need you to come take care of me and then leave and not be a person outside of that. Respectfully, with love.
respectfully.
I didn't. I did watch one show from I can think of. I watched one show from this year, which is Department Q on Netflix, and that was when I tore my ACL and I was home for a week after the surgery, and I watched about four pieces of media in the span of 2 days. I think Department Q.
Oh wow,
We having a
that's
rough time.
crazy for you.
Crazy. I built Legos. I was what else? I think I read a lot, but there's only so many things you can read and so many Legos to build. So we watched
Mhm.
stuff. In Department
What is
Q,
Department Q?
it's based on a book or a book series, I believe. It's about this detective in Scotland Yard. He and the show opens and he and his partner are like investigating something with like this beat cop essentially,
Mhm.
and the like perpetrator is a murder and the murderer is still there. So he and his partner and the beat cop get shot. The beat cop dies. His partner is paralyzed, and he's just like I think he gets like he's like out of commission obviously for a while, given all the getting shot in the neck or whatever,
Uh-huh.
as you do. So he comes back to, and he's like kind of a volatile detective, that sort of broody character.
Mhm.
Um, then gets obviously worse because he got shot and his partner is not having a great time being paralyzed. Okay, and he basically they're trying to keep him on. This lady gets new funding. Like the head of the department gets new funding, only if she opens up like a cold cases department. She's like, I don't really want to put any effort into this. So she's like, oh yeah, you can do that and come back to work. So he gets
Mhm.
put in charge of this cold case department. It's him. It's this girl detective who has like she has anxiety. Let's just put it. She's like on meds, so like no one wants to work with her. She's kind of been put on front desk duty. So like she comes to help, and then this man from Syria who wants to work for the police, but it's like not present day, so they're a little racist.
Mm.
And she's
Not
like, yeah,
ideal.
that's a good way to get rid of these three people that I don't really want to deal with. But they end up investigating the disappearance of a lawyer who everyone just presumes to be dead. Long story short, turns out she's not dead. They find her, and they're getting a second season. It was good. Also, the main guy is dealing with us. It's this craziest family setup I've ever seen in my life. He married this lady. Okay, she had a son, so it's his stepson. The two of them got divorced. He has somehow ended up with custody of the stepson.
Okay.
So I don't get that, but that was a fun
Well,
little relationship. He falls in love with his therapist. Another, there's a lot of things. All in all, though, I do like a detective
fall
show,
what?
and they were all Scottish, so no notes.
Falls in love with his therapist?
Yeah, he gets assigned a therapist because of again getting shot in the neck business.
Mhm.
And she's like covering for the regular therapist, so then they kind of have like a little thing going on.
Okay.
And the Syrian guy, fantastic. He's like one of those guys. He like just seems very mild. He's like, I like to bake and this, but he could probably kill you with his pinky finger if he needed to,
Oh,
which they
nice.
repeatedly realize. So fun little thing. And then so anyway, that's Department Q from this year. I heard they're getting a second season, so that'll be fun.
Woo.
I think we should let more people be Scottish in media. All of that said, another thing I watched while my ACL was repairing itself in my body is Final Draft, also on Netflix. And this is I don't know if it's from this year, but it's a Japanese competition show. And it took a bunch of former athletes. And basically, they had to just keep completing challenges till one of them won. And I watched
Okay.
a man do 580 crunches in a row, nonstop, with in 5 second
And
increments.
he lived?
Uh huh. Mind you, again, this is post ACL surgery for me. So I wasn't feeling great about life. Okay.
Anything.
I'm a very active person. I couldn't be very active. I'm over here with my leg in a brace propped up. I was like, when I'm out of here, I'll do 580 crunches. I take that back. I'm not going to do 580 crunches. But
Have you done
um,
one at least?
I've done a couple. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We're working on a pull up right now. So that's my main concern. We'll report back. But that was fun. They had a water polo player on there, and he made it pretty far in the competition. So it was cool. It's just really, I think, interesting to see the limits that like people can push their bodies to, you know. And it was also really interesting to see because they had athletes from a variety of sports. So they had
Mhm.
some rugby players, they had the water polo player, they had a baseball player. So just the different ways these different sports kind of lent to these activities. And no matter how you're built or what you do, you can do anything. It was crazy.
All right.
What do we got next?
Next, we have we're shifting into the music part of this endeavor um, with our favorite album from this year.
I did see your list, and I was surprised that there was an album that you didn't put the album that I put on my list on there.
I I I purposely tried to not do things that we discussed on this podcast
Um,
to give us a little bit more variety. But yes, I do co-sign
okay,
the album that Kalina's about to say.
perfect. Top of my list was "Everyone's a Star." 5 Seconds of Summer came out this year. 10 out of 10, no
Banger.
notes. I can't think of any other. There's one other album that came out this year that I like was looking forward to and listened to, and that was Set It Off's self-titled album. I just
Mm,
thought "Everyone's a Star" was better. That's all I can think of that came out this year. I did put like as an honorable mention, I suppose, "Dying Is Your Latest Fashion" by Escape the Fate because I realized this year that's a no skip album for me, but that did not come out this year. That was like when Ronnie Radke was still in Escape the Fate, so like their first album or whatever. Um, but unfortunately, I know like we don't love Ronnie Radke. Banger album. Okay, very very good. But Everyone's a Star is very good. I guess you could also kind of throw in for honorable mentions for me Side Quest by Michael Clifford, which did come out this year,
Oh.
right? I
I
think.
think that was this year, I think so. I think there were some really good songs that either came out this year or discovered this year,
Hmm.
but, like, as a full album, um, Everyone's a Star, of course, honorable mention for me,
So good.
but also The Beaches put out an album called No Hard Feelings. Um, it's not a no-skip album because I'm very, very picky, but it's a one-skip album, which is basically
The same
perfect
thing.
for me. Everyone's a Star is also a one skip album, so it's, high bar.
What are you skipping on Everyone's a Star?
Ghost. I'm so sorry, Luke.
That
I'm
song
sure
is
your dad
so
sucks,
good.
but like
My problem is like this is why "Dying Is Your Latest Fashion" is like a shocking no skip album for me because I think all of the songs on that album is the same, like the vibe is the same. So like
mhm.
I wouldn't skip Ghost, but I understand like I if I'm going from a "Everyone's a Star" boy band and then you're like "You and I haunted by a similar," I'm not in the zone for that
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
not there.
um but I think we should talk about either Michael Clifford's album, or I haven't listened to a full album by then, but for his album he did a song with the guy from Water Parks,
Mhm.
and I've like heard a couple of Water Parks' new singles, which I enjoyed, which I thought was funny because in the comments I saw a lot of people like fans saying they didn't like the new sound. I really liked the sound, but I felt
Okay.
like Michael Clifford's album and the Parks stuff that I've enjoyed both touch on the theme that is in Everyone's a Star of like fame and lack of boundaries and being in the spotlight in that way. So I thought those would be
Ooh.
fun for us to discuss at some future date. But I would like to give a Water Parks album a listen, and then I'll tell you if we should do Mr.
Okay.
Clifford or Water Parks.
I've listened to actually I think I made you listen to it too, Fandom by Water Parks a couple years ago. Um
Possibly. That sounds familiar because there was a couple older songs. I was like, I know this one, and I like. I have a couple old Water Park songs on my playlist. I have Turbulent,
that's from that album.
yes, and I have another one. Oh, fuck about it, with I think Black Bear.
Oh,
This is a good one. Any song
you
Black
have to
Bear's
tell me
on
about that. I don't know it.
goes hard.
Black Bear does a good feature.
He's like Drake to me.
Mm.
I think I like every song Drake is featured on. Drake so much.
I don't think I've ever heard a Black Bear song that's just him.
He's good. I got I missed the old you. I discovered that one this year. That's good. Um,
Oh.
there's one I don't know the song the title of the song, but he goes fuck you and you and you. I
Hot
hate
Girl
your
Bummer.
friends. Yeah, that
I guess
one's.
I do know a Black Bear song then. I didn't know that was him.
But then he does that
Um,
weird thing where he's featured on that all time low song, which another story. But it's just I think he just does a verse from one of his other songs,
he does. Oh, speaking of problematic men, he also is on a Tiny Meat Gang song.
which unfortunately
It's,
is
it's so
very
good.
very good. The next slide I realized I forgot to fill out. So Eleanor's gonna
You
go
did.
first while I brainstorm.
Okay, perfect. Right now we're talking about songs. Um, Another reason I didn't put Everyone's a Star in my favorite album is because I wanted to put Telephone Busy as one of my favorite songs of the year. I did do a very like first thought, best thought, and I had just listened to Everyone's a Star when I was writing this down. But Telephone Busy, fantastic song, one of the best of the year. Also, there's a song called Close Off by Alexia that I have listened to quite a few times this year. And I don't know if this came out this year or not, but I think it was this year. Um, there is an EP by The Rex that is pretty good. And I don't remember any of the names of the songs on there, but there's one where he talks about saying "I love you" through a megaphone, and it's that song. And I wish it had a name, but unfortunately, it doesn't.
Okay,
Okay.
I am going to go with the answer here because because this is what came to my mind. Youngblood did that cover of Changes by Black
Okay.
Sabbath. That popped to my mind. So I would put that up there, and I'm gonna put it at the top just because it's a song I know I like, even before Youngblood did it. Honorable mentions though, Set It Off had Worst Case Scenarios on their self-titled album, which I very much enjoyed. Really, any of the song, yeah, I'd probably also go with Telephone Busy off of Everyone's a Star, but we're gonna go with yes, You Changes Youngblood because that's what I saw on my playlist last.
All right, perfect. Honestly, this is a good year. I think this year I started listening to more singles than albums or like more one-off songs cuz for a really long time I would listen to an album all the way through only once and then just pull the songs that I liked and then only listen to those songs. And so this year I tried to listen to a lot more albums, which meant I was kind of only listening to albums and not a lot of one-off songs. And then I learned that you can just add songs to your playlist from TikTok, which is a little bit embarrassing but very helpful.
It's fantastic. I do it all the time.
It really is. And they just all go into the same playlist automatically. Ugh, genius. Uh Speaking of where you listening to your music, uh we have a fun little detour planned uh with our I put Spotify Wrapped. I don't actually use Spotify, but I feel like that's a everyone knows what we're talking about when we say it. So not everyone needs to know that I listen to Apple Music. Music Wrapped. And additionally, I not to be like annoying about it, I do feel like perhaps this is not how I want to be remembered,
But
but I will start. My top artist of the year was Taylor Swift. I would like to disclaim that I listened to her newest album one time when it came out and then stopped listening her for the rest of the year. So current me does not claim this. However, it does sound accurate for the start
yeah,
of
yeah.
the year. Number 2 was Carly Rae Jepsen because above all else, I am an annoying gay man. Um, and then Tate McRae, See Above, 5 Seconds of Summer, and Xana, who I have gotten really into this year because of her album The Sex Was Good Until It Wasn't, which shockingly is my number 2 album of the entire year. My top album was So Close to What by Miss Tate McRae. And then that EP from the Rex I just mentioned called Inside, and Who's the Clown by Audrey Hobart.
Okay,
And then also another album that's only on here because of this podcast, so I'm not saying it because I don't, it was not an organic choice.
okay. You don't claim it.
Correct.
Okay. I'm looking at Spotify Wrapped on my computer, so we're gonna do half of this based on my memory. I do remember that my Spotify age was 70, which I thought was rude and sick and twisted. Okay, accurate. However, rude and sick and twisted.
Incredibly accurate. What else would it be?
I don't know. Give me like a 50. I feel like a 50-year-old white man, not a 70-year-old white man. Anyway, okay. My top artists, I know the first two were the Eagles, to everyone's shock and awe. Number two was Pierce the Veil. 5 Seconds of Summer, I think, was number five. Eminem was up there. I don't really remember who the other person was. My top albums were. I do remember looking at this. What happened is I was looking at this and when I was doing my notes and then got distracted and come back to finish the
Fair
slide.
enough.
My top albums were Collide with the Sky by Pierce the Veil was number one, and I think A Flair for the Dramatic was number five, also by Pierce the Veil. So, nice little bookend there. Dying is Your Latest Fashion. Escape the Fate, as we previously mentioned, was up there. I think had 5 Seconds of Summer. I think if Everyone's a Star had come out earlier, it would have been up there, but
Mhm.
it was not. And then for top songs, to my shock and awe, my top song of the year was My Kink is Karma by Chapel Roan. For
That's a
whatever
crazy
reason,
pull. I didn't know that you knew about Chapel Roan.
I know that song.
Okay, and that song is very, very Kalina coded.
Very Kalina coded. I saw an edit, a Ted Lasso edit to it for a couple. I don't even doesn't exist in the show. I don't even believe. I didn't even realize people were shipping them, but saw it on a Ted Lasso edit for Mr. Jamie Tart and Colin. Insert last name here. Very good. My second top song of the year was Onita by Tyler Childers, which is a song about this guy who's trying to date an older woman, and she's like, "You're a little young for me," and he's like, "No, it's like it's fine, babe. Like,
Trust me.
trust me, I love you, and we're gonna make this work, okay?" And he like, there's my favorite verse is he says he's like standing outside the bar, and the guy can't let him in, but he's like, "Can you just give her a message for me? Tell her I know I'm younger than most, but I'm willing, okay? If she's got the time, here I am." Next we've got
5 Seconds of Summer has a song about that, actually. It's called 18.
oh my goodness, I saw so many people talking about how 5 Seconds of Summer should put 18 on the set list, and they're like, no, it's a little weird if the grown adult men are like, she's, um, but she's. I told her I'm 20. It's just not like the vibe's not the same anymore because you're
It's
adults.
not,
They're
but
almost
it's
30.
a pretty good song.
It's a good song. Then I've got For Leaving by Jake Minch. This is a song I found off of TikTok, so shout out to that TikTok add to playlist feature.
Mhm,
It's sad and emo. We've got
of course.
Money by Lola Young, which I really got into Lola Young this year. But I have a tendency, I find that I like her, like I don't like her singles or like the songs that blow up. I like the other stuff. But this is an older Lola Young song. And then rounding out the list at number 5 to everyone's shock and awe, it is Hotel California by the Eagles.
Of course.
Had to be there somewhere. Oh,
Had
sorry,
to.
Hell Freezes Over was definitely in my top albums of the year as well. That is the Eagles album for me.
It's the only one I know, so it's reached this far.
Can you see me?
A little bit. Not I've seen you better before, but
Let me go turn. I'm gonna turn a lamp on. I'll be right back.
okay. My top songs are not exciting. They're all from my top album of the year. Um, there we go.
Thank you.
Shout out Tate McRae. My top song is literally the opening song of her album. So I do wish there was a way to like take out album songs, like songs from an album listen, because then I think it would have been different. But there we go. I listened to the same album a lot,
It is what it is.
and they caught on to me.
I'm always shocked when I see your music wrapped, though. I know
I
you.
like. I always. I understand that I kind of only listen to top 40 stuff. I don't think you need to tell me that like as aggressively as you do. You know?
That's like I my Spotify wrapped every year is it's literally just a gamble of like where Pierce the Veil and Eminem are gonna fall in the top 5. Eagles are always number 1. Pierce the Veil the last couple years has been holding on to that number 2 spot. Eminem is,
Mm.
usually like 3 or 4. 5 Seconds of Summer have been working their way up there, so I could see them outpacing him soon enough. But it's always just a gamble of that, and then like how high on the list Hell Freezes Over is going to be in terms of top albums. I was shocked by my top songs of the year, but I do think I was listening to more, kind of like how you said you're listening to more singles. I was getting like a lot of like one-off music and not feeling so much pressure to like check out the artist's whole discography and things like that.
Mhm.
So I was that kind of explains the weird breakdown. Also, My Kink is Karma was just a good song.
It's just such a good song.
Yeah.
It really is. I I do hope that we get a new Chapel album in 2026. Um and I hope it's better than the other one.
I like Red Wine Supernova, but I don't like it when Chapel Roan is singing it. I've liked everyone else I've heard sing it. I just think like that's how I feel about a lot of Beyonce songs. Unfortunately, is like I like the idea, but I think some of like there's just some emotion there that I don't think the artist of the song can tap into. Like they've got the idea. I think other people can actually sing it with the correct feeling. Sorry. But I did add Coffee by Chapel Roan to my playlist fairly recently, and I like that one.
Okay. Um, that song made me turn off the entire album the first time I heard it.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't love it, and then so like sometimes it comes on and I'm like, I should take this off. But sometimes it comes on and it hits. We can't get coffee. It's not gonna end well.
Because if I meet you for coffee,
I mean
the rest of the song,
for meeting for other things too.
if you know what I mean, like a pastry,
We're always meeting for a pastry.
ideally. Um, speaking of pastries, what new artists did you discover this year?
I put the home team because I got into the home team this year. They're fun. I was showing they do really really fun music videos. I don't know anything about. Well, here's the list of things I know about the home team. They're called the home team. The lead singer is this guy named Brian Butcher, who fantastic voice. He has long red hair, very colorful tattoos. Not my type in the slightest, but also the most perhaps one of the most charismatic men I've ever seen in my life. He has a lisp, so every time I see him, I think about you, which is not good for me. You know?
Sorry, that sounded familiar. Did they play in your car? Because I have a song from them on my playlist, and
Yeah,
I think that's the only way I would have heard it.
yeah. No, they definitely
Okay.
played in my car. They, I don't know, I like him a lot. Oh, the other thing I know about the home team is Brian Butcher is married, and he loves his wife. I don't know anything about his wife except that he loves that woman. They have a song called "Walk This World with Me" that's like, "Would you walk this world with me?" And it's sad and beautiful. But they also do very very fun music videos. They have one for their song called "Hell," which is like it looks like the music video. So they're all the members of the band are going to hell, basically. But each band member has like it's animated. So each band member is hell is
Oh.
animated in a different style. So one's like really old Guitar Hero looking, and one's like my brother told me what it was. It's kind of like 8-bit e. So I thought that was
Mm.
fun. And they like sing like sexy songs. Like they don't sound sexy, but they're
Ooh.
like, I'd like to get you alone.
Ooh.
Woohoo.
You're my wife.
You're my wife.
Mhm.
And I was debating going to see them because they were playing near me, and I couldn't decide about like, and then I missed it. So I kind of wish I had went. So hopefully they
Took too long to decide.
come back around next year. And another person whom I recall just now, completely organically, is Saint Levant. I try to listen to a lot of like internationally music. So Saint Levant's like this Palestinian artist, and I
Yes.
also made Eleanor listen to this. I think um, he sings in Arabic and French a lot, and I like his stuff. It's fun.
Fair enough. Easy as that. Um, this year I got into this new artist. She's kind of local, kind of indie. Britney Spears.
It's a crazy thing that's on there.
uh, what happened was I heard a snippet of I Wanna Go, and then I remembered how good of a song I Wanna Go is, and so I spent a couple weeks only listening to Britney Spears albums, and you know what? That lady can sing.
That lady has got it going on.
I've also learned a lot about her plight, and oh boy, don't make don't be nice to your kids. You know that's to her
I
parents, not to her. So we're clear.
it kind of makes me think of my like to be like a creative genius, you have to be a little bit insane. Unfortunately, the ways in which people are insane are not always very often to the detriment of other people, unfortunately. But kind of in a similar manner is like it's a combo of like people wanting to like capture or like live vicariously through you almost when you have talent, but also like I think your talent being a vessel that like can help give you some freedom from overbearing parents or things like that. And I think of like okay, the Britney Spears, Michael Jackson. I watched a lot about Macaulay Culkin the last couple weeks, and like that guy's dad was crazy, you know? So
Who is that?
the
Is
Home
that the
Alone
one that's
guy,
dating Brenda Song? Or
yes.
married? Betrothed?
I actually don't want to have this conversation anymore, so we should move on.
You can't just make people up and expect me to know who they are.
I can in fact expect you to know who Macaulay Culkin is because we did talk about him on more than one occasion.
Well, not as many occasions. I know his face, I just don't know his name. I thought his name was Kieran.
That's his brother.
There's two of them?
Yeah.
Moving on. Um, eh, I also, wanted to give Audrey Hobart a shout out. She's on the list of people I might make Kalina listen to. Um, she put out her first album this year, and it was good. I think
We can
she's
do an album swap. I'll
really good.
listen to Miss Hobart. You listen to the home team and Saint Laurent because I don't remember if he said someone else. But
Okay,
if
I
he did, we
said
can listen to
Britney
them.
Spears. I don't think it'd be a case of like making you listen
Oh,
to
we can
Britney
listen to Britney
Spears. I think
Spears.
we just have a party. All right. So this next one, I would like for you to go first because I'm gonna just come in and real quick finish it up.
Okay, is this a
Um,
good time to tell you I still can't see your screen?
okay, perfect. Right now we're on books. I
Oh,
don't
okay,
know why
perfect.
you can't see my screen, but
I
Kalina has
saw
read
a note that
46
said
books and she would like to tell you about a handful of them.
I saw a note that said Eleanor has stopped screen sharing. Eleanor has started screen sharing. However, the screen share never reappeared for me. So we're
Oh,
flying by the seat of our
I
pants here.
tried.
But I did write this about 10 minutes before we started recording, so I should remember. Books. I'm trying to read 50 books this year. I have 4 days as of right now. Wish me luck. I've read 46 books for the year so far, including the one I'm currently reading, so 45 and a half. And I gave a range of book options because I figured Eleanor didn't have much to say on this slide, and I was
Good call.
correct. My top book of the year, I think, is The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. This is a book about these two unlikely allies who have to team up to rescue a goddess, ancient goddess. It's fun. It's it was just an unexpected delight. I read it after reading a book that I was promised, like people were hyping up online, and I just didn't find that book that good. So this kind of gave me what I was expecting from that book, and I
Mhm.
think I ranked it 5 stars. It was good. Read The Spear Cuts Through Water. Okay, it was on my TBR for a while before it came in on my holds on Libby. Then I also put on the list The Count of Monte Cristo and It for honorable mentions, just because I really enjoyed them, but they were 1,000+ pages each. So they took
Oh
me a
boy.
while to get through. And for some reason, whenever I have 1,000+ page book, that's what I decide to read in a physical copy instead of on my Kindle. But
Of course.
really enjoyed them. There's a special kind of reward in finishing a book that long, and I besides that I did enjoy the stories in them. Just hard for me to recommend because they're so hefty. And an honorable mention I have on there is The Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, which I like. Stephen Graham Jones is author I'm kind of like getting into. My next book I have lined up to read is by him. But The Buffalo Hunter Hunter is about a Native American vampire, which if you know anything about me is
Oh.
right up my alley. And it takes
Mhm.
place in like what is it? I guess post-colonial America. Like they're settling America still, right? And this vampire comes to like confess to a priest over a series of days or weeks, and there's a plot twist at the end about why he chose that priest to confess to, and he kills some people, and he's a vampire, and I like to see different like conceptions of vampires, but also kind of tying in history, however awful it may be, and kind of giving, I guess, power to someone who's traditionally a victim is good. He also, just to mention, Stephen Graham Jones also wrote The Only Good Indians, which is the first book I read by him. It's about this group of friends who are hunted by this deer that they killed.
Oh.
Very good. What else did I put on there? Oh, yes, and then there's Oathbound, which I put on there just because it's from the Legendborn cycle, which it follows this girl named Bree Matthews, who goes off to this like dual enrollment kind of program at the college her mom went to, and it turns out she's part of this secret society of people who are descended from King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. So Earthbound was the third book in the
Okay.
series. It came out this year. I read it a couple months after it came out. Did like a reread of all the books up to that point. Very good. Very excited for the next book, which I've heard it's supposed to be the final book, and I've also heard there's going to be 5 books. So anxious to see
We'll
which route we
see.
go there. My favorite thing, actually, I'll tell you this. My favorite thing about the Legendborn cycle is that one of the main characters slash love interest has the same name as my dad, and like my dad does not have a normal name, so little strange to read. And like I always like the dark broody love interest, and he's the dark and broody love interest. The only saving grace is um they call the guy Cell in the book, and like no one would ever call my father that, so I
Okay.
can separate. But I will tell you, the first time I read the first book, took me about half the book to like. I was like, I'm really trying to root for you here, dude, but
Yeah, that's tough.
you're making it difficult. And those are my books. So please wish me luck as I read these next 4 in the next
I think
4 days.
you can read 4 books in a day. I
It,
really
I think so too, but I also have like a job. Unfortunately, is the problem.
just don't go.
What did you read this year?
This year I successfully finished one new book. It was called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and I did not like it. Um, but I read it and I feel good that I finished it. I also reread a book that I've read a couple times. It's called It's Kind of a Funny Story. It's about a teenage boy who tries to kill himself and then is committed to a mental hospital for like a 72-hour hold. It also has a movie with Zach Galifianakis. Um, I've read like I've read the first half of a couple different books that I'm hoping to finish up. Um, I'm back into like my I think I don't love fiction. I think is something I'm realizing as well. Maybe it's because I haven't read like non YA fiction. Um,
Okay, well, I have a
so
long list I can recommend to you. Very good.
yeah, yes, I will be coming to you for that. But right now I'm in the like middle-ish of 3 different books about television theory because I'm a nerd.
Yeah, that's okay though. We still
It
love
is
you.
okay. I have fun.
I have read a couple. While we're talking about it, like nonfiction books. I read a couple. I try to like change genre every time I read. So I'll read like a fantasy. I'll read a biography. I'll read a. Those are the only 2 genres of books I can think about right now. I don't read a lot of romance, but I'll throw one of those in there every once in a while. Nonfiction, I read What Made Maddie Run, which is about this girl who went to college to run. She got signed for running and then killed herself. And it was just
Oh.
in like, and it was like exploration of the stresses we put athletes, especially young athletes, under, and like kind of how it got to that point for her. I read Good for a Girl, which was by this very um, successful runner, and it kind of was an exploration about how sports aren't built for women,
Mhm.
specifically in the sense that like not that women can't do sport, but that like a lot of the research and science and like best practices are built on a white male model. And women go off to college and like tend to get slower. She's talking about runners specifically because of like the body change, the like bodily changes you go through between the ages of 18 and 24, versus men. Like women tend to hit their peak after that, whereas men start to go through those changes later on in life. So things like that, which I thought was interesting. And I think those are all the. I think those are the 2.
One thing Kalina and I both enjoy is Saturday Night Live. Um, Go Live TV.
That's
Uh,
for a long time was how I got all of my news.
it's still how I get the bulk of my news. It's also like it's very embarrassing to only know about actors because they've hosted SNL. Um,
But as we
that's
talked about, we use SNL as a litmus test because if you're not funny on SNL,
mhm, something's wrong with you. Or this is just not the style that you're suited for, but whatever, that's less fun. Miss Kalina, who was your standout host from this year?
Who was my standout host for this year? I sure wish I could see the slide that I wrote that down on. But I do
Well, I
believe
tried, and I can break it to you if you
I
like.
put I put Mr. Bad Bunny because
Ooh.
I love Mr. Bad Bunny. He's hilarious. I think part of the charm of Bad Bunny, to the detriment of other hosts of SNL, is you wouldn't expect him as a non-actor to do so well in that format.
Mhm.
He's hilarious. Also, he I know this year he did his monologue in like part of it in Spanish. He's like, if you don't know what I'm saying, you got a couple months to figure it out before the Super Bowl. Okay. But I did want to give an honorable mention just because I didn't want to pick this man as my favorite host, but this sketch was probably one of the funniest sketches of the year. It was Mr. Timothy Chalamet. They did like a barista sketch, and the baristas have to come up with different slogans involving the word coffee. So in the sketch, they're like, okay, they don't like any of his ideas because he's not following the prompt at all. They're like, we just need you to come up with a pun about coffee about that uses the word latte. Okay, earlier in the sketch he says, you know, who doesn't love a big woman? I like my woman big. So his pun is, the other day my girl asked me how much weight she had gained. I said, girl, a latte. And I fortunately found that very
It
funny.
was really
I'm not
good.
falling for the Timothy Chalamet propaganda or the Glenn
Mm-mm.
Powell propaganda, but
Mm-mm.
my morals were tested in that sketch.
I liked Glenn Powell. He's not my favorite, but I liked Glenn Powell as a host. And then when I was rewatching some of the sketches, I realized I just liked it because he makes a really good volley for other people. Like he wasn't doing anything fantastic, but
Yeah,
he fit well into the cast and made other people seem fantastic.
I had a couple options, but I was trying to decide. It was like, do I like this person, or is it that like I think this is a really good sketch that they are in? I felt like Bad Bunny. One, I did like the sketches, but there's some that I think like they did one that was based on a popular Spanish television show. So like, nah, I'm not the target audience for that. But Bad Bunny's kind of like Marcelo Hernandez. Like Marcelo Hernandez in a scene, I'm like, this is great. Or Ashley
Mhm.
Padilla on SNL. I love her. I can't keep
Love
my eyes off
her.
of her when she's in a scene. So even if the sketch is bad or like not my style of humor, I will still enjoy it because they're in it. Bad Bunny could do say anything and I will think he's hilarious. Who was
Yeah.
your favorite
I'm
SNL host?
my favorite host was Shane Gillis.
Let's go one.
Uh almost exclusively because of the sketch called Dad's House. Um it's it's funny to be a child of divorce and I like being represented in media.
I thought you were gonna say Melissa McCarthy.
See, I was going to. I do think she's one of the best hosts, but I think her stint this season was not as good as other things she's had. Um
I'm
but
also
yeah,
saying this with the caveat that I haven't seen Ariana Grande's the episode this
your
that
answer wouldn't change.
okay. But I do think she was when last time she was on SNL, I thought she was funny. I think she's like
She was fantastic last time.
subtly
And
funny.
she's got like enough theater kid energy to be good at it.
Hmm.
Um I think the Christmas show is just kind of a tough sell,
Yeah.
but shout out. I did cry. One of them made me cry because it was Bowen's last episode.
I was gonna say, speaking of Christmas show, I did see that they like gave him a song send off, and I would just like to mention the best song send off of all time, which is when Cecily Strong left, and they had Austin Butler's Elvis sing "Blue Christmas."
Yes, that was a good one. I saw something that said Bowen learned from Cecily that if you really want your moment, you have to leave at Christmas, and you're right.
I
We
like
do.
SNL.
Uh, so in the spirit of being critical consumers, we have decided that we would pick our favorite thing to hate on this year. Kalina picked four, and I only picked one, and one of Kalina's is mine, so Kalina only gets three. I'm so
Kalina
sorry.
was spitballing options, and then her plan was when she saw the slide, she would pick one, possibly
Okay.
two. She can no longer see the slide, so we're flying by the seat of our pants here. I
Okay.
don't remember what I hated. Wait, I know one thing. I don't know if I put it on the list. Apple Pockets, My brother had to explain what
That's
an
on
apple
there, and
pocket.
yeah, I don't know what that means, so
Oh,
please.
me neither. I saw people complain about apple pockets. I am not on the internet. I learn more and more every day. So my brother explained this to me. It's it looks like a sock. It looks like a long sock that's made to hold your phone, and you like throw it over your shoulder.
Like, in real life?
Uh huh.
Why?
It's kind of like you remember when they made AirPods and then they were like, "Here's these fancy wires you can put on your AirPods to hold them." It's like that, but worse. But they
Okay, it's
do
like
come in
that,
different
but
colors, if that makes a difference.
mm,
Apple
it
Pocket.
doesn't. That's crazy. You also have Bones on here,
Oh
and I
yes, I
am
watched Bones this
remembering
year.
that
Bad.
you
I did watch
bad.
all of it, and I hate her. And I know it's not her fault because she like didn't write the character, but oh my god, I hate her. There was a certain point in the show where I was like, I was just watching for the few times that Mr. Aristu Vasiri popped up. Love him. Would have watched
Love
50
him.
seasons of a show about him.
Mhm.
And like I liked the concept, but also, and I think this is because I watch so many cop shows, like I love a cop show. That many things can't happen to one group of people. Like even when they're cops, because there's a couple episodes of Law and Order, like they're like the ADA is being targeted specifically, or the like, cops are being targeted specifically. That many things cannot possibly happen to one. Well, not even it's not even the group of them. It's her. She's not that
Yeah,
interesting.
she's not. And it's also like if that many things were happening to her,
Get a new
they would tell
job.
her you're a liability. You have to just write books and like you have to pick one. You cannot be world famous and keep being a target and keep being an
Oh,
author.
she's the
Like
most brilliant
you
mind in
have to
her
pick the
field.
quietest one.
Sure, she can't be on TV anymore.
Mm-mm.
Also, the FBI, like, I know I have to suspend belief. Even if I could believe the first time around, the FBI was like, yeah, this partnership makes sense to have an anthropologist on call to drag around to crime scenes where the body's decomposed. She did so many things that like that would have been revoked very quickly. However,
Yeah.
I was unaware of Sealy Booth's game. Okay. I did not know that man was yearning like that. Big fan. I just wish he was yearning about anybody else. Please and thank you.
Yeah. Um Bones is a good one to hate. I'll I haven't even seen an episode of Bones in a couple years, but if you hit me on the right night,
What
I'll
happened
give
is it
you an
used to come
hour.
on all the time, so I'd seen it in bits and pieces. So I was like, oh, I enjoyed it. You know, it's kind of like a cop show, just slightly different, right? Um, but she's insufferable in that large of a dose. Like sometimes I finish a show and like I might not have like elements of it, but I'm like, all right, I didn't enjoy the process. I think every episode I had a complaint to share.
Yeah. And the complaint was she was there. My favorite thing to hate on this year was I just said Taylor Swift generally. Kalina got a little bit more specific and said Swifties post engagement. My thing specifically that I have been really, really enjoying watching is Gaylors and like the massive amounts of like mental gymnastics that they're doing because it's really just I wasn't I wasn't really in One Direction in the same way to see how like off the deep end the Larrys that are still holding on have been getting. Um but seeing it like full force with the Gaylors was so fantastic for me. I think that they're just the nuttiest group of people and she's getting a little nutty too and it's just like you guys are so like you need to stop but you also need to stay on my internet forever so I can keep checking in on you.
I remember when I realized Gaylors were real. I remember when I realized Larry Truthers were real, which
Mhm.
was mind-boggling for me. Eleanor had to talk me through that one for a while. Same thing with the Gaylors. I put Swifties post engagement specifically because there's like I don't agree with Taylor Swift as an entity, but like it's kind of pointless to be like, oh, I'm hating on this celebrity who's that's not gonna make any difference in her life, right? Um, but just like the general sense of psychosis that I feel like these
Yeah.
people are going through. And I picked Swifties. I'm sure it kind of relates to that larger conversation we always have about parasocial relationships and fame, and like that's something I really find interesting and love to dig into. I just think it was on display for everyone after Taylor Swift got engaged, is like the
Mhm.
extent to which that can grow, because these people are crazy. Like I remember, I think what inspired me to write it down was this video of this girl, this lady, like she's telling her two daughters, "I have great news. I have the best news in the world." And they're like, "Uh, Donald Trump died," and she's like, "No," and they're like,
Better.
"This other guy died." And they're like, she's like, "No, even better. My best friend got engaged," and they're like, "Who?" And she's like, "Taylor Swift," and her kids are like,
Okay. My
"Okay."
close personal friend, indie artist Taylor Swift.
Which again, I don't agree with. Like, I think that's a crazy thing to be so excited to tell your kids, right? But like, okay, fine. You're telling your kids Taylor Swift got engaged. You maybe you all like her music, whatever. To start to preface it as my best friend got engaged, the woman
Crazy.
doesn't know you. My actual
And
best friend, not Eleanor, but my actual best friend got engaged this year. Um, I was thrilled about that. The people I saw online were more excited about Taylor Swift getting engaged than I think I was for my best friend of for like 13 years getting engaged, you know?
anyway, moving swiftly on. um, Kalina, I don't know why I'm asking you. You don't have the list in front of you. I have the list in front of me, so I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
And talk about our favorite pop culture moments
Okay.
of the year. Kalina's pulling things from her list that I forgot were this year. Um, my honorable mention is unfortunately Dan and Phil. Uh,
I was surprised you had
Gay
that on there
people
because I think I
became
had to tell you
real.
about that.
This I did this one I will say I did talk to people in real life about, which was a little embarrassing for me. But it's just a heartwarming little story. Um, love is love. I felt like we were all back in like 2016 when the US legalized gay marriage, like or 2015 maybe. Anyway, I felt like we were there for about a week and it felt nice. Um I also think that kind of similarly to what we were just talking about, I had a lot of fun listening to all of the like the relationship discourse, like situationship and whatnot. I feel like that really had a moment, especially like with the is having a boyfriend embarrassing thing a couple weeks ago. Um, just a fun time to be a hater.
Having a boyfriend is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, the way I think about it, I think being a girlfriend is embarrassing. You can be a girl with a boyfriend. I think being a
Mhm,
girlfriend is embarrassing, which I've seen a lot of discourse around that. Like, there's girls who have boyfriends, there's girls who have husbands, but like they're not wives, they're not girlfriends. We have a hard time in general separating identities. I think kind of like my biggest issue with the internet is always like the being soupification of the internet, as we've talked
mhm,
about. And I think that's like one facet of it is we don't know how to, there's no nuance in conversations anymore. So there's no nuance in people's identities when you discuss them, especially
mhm.
when you don't know them. So again, back to like sort of the relationship thing, it very much becomes this person's fiance, this person's husband. Like this, it's just like you can only be one thing and nothing else.
Um, do you do you know what these are? Do you want to throw
I
some
know
out?
one of them is Dancing with the Stars.
One of the Dancing with the
My
Stars.
coworker got me into watching Dancing with the Stars, and it was fun. In my best effort not to sound like a pick me or anything like that, I don't consume a lot of popular media. I don't think I'm not usually like hip with what's happening to like come in
Yeah,
and like normally my coworker has to come tell me what's happening, right? If I didn't hear about it on Weekend Update, I didn't know it happened.
didn't happen.
But she was my coworker was watching Dance with the Stars, got me into watching Dance with the Stars. I like Robert Irwin. I like the Irwin family tangentially. You know, you see them online. You're like, they're good people. They deserve good things. So I was watching it and it was fun. We got really into it and it was something nice to like come in and talk about. And then I was going to physical therapy and like it was something I could talk about with people at physical therapy. So I kind of like learned the value of those sorts of things. Or like it's a little bit easier to like break the barrier and talk about those things because it's something even if you're not super into Dancing with the Stars, like I'm not like over there, getting into Twitter wars about it. But like I knew enough of what was happening. I was like, damn, that score that Derek gave was crazy. So
Mhm.
kind of, I think make an effort to consume a few more pop culture things. And I had, it's like no stakes at the end of the day. Like, yeah, I want this person to win, but like they don't win, they win, they win, they win, they don't win, whatever. Their life's probably going to be like functionally the same. And my life will be exactly the same. And we'll all move on. We had a good time
Yeah.
together.
Also, Mr. Mamdani?
Oh yeah. I don't believe we should idolize. I don't believe we should idolize anybody. I specifically do not believe we should idolize politicians. This is on both sides of the spectrum. It's like voting for the train service. I'm not wearing. Actually, I would wear a shirt with a train on it, but I'm not wearing a shirt being like "Go trains, go public transport." Like they are there to serve a function and serve the people. I should not be a fan of that person. I will make an
Mhm.
exception for myself because I'm always correct for Mr. Mamdani because I'm not voting for him. I don't live in New York City. It was nice to
Exactly.
have hope for a little while. It was nice to see that like someone who is an immigrant and who like, and again, I don't know the man, so take this with a grain of salt. Okay, I hope he doesn't turn out to be a bad guy, but who seemed honest and genuine and positive and like for the people and aligned with the values that I think a lot of people in my life and I am aligned with. One, like even if he hadn't won his campaign, like he was out one night greeting the taxi drivers that work the night service because they get left out of a lot of like, voting canvassing is the word I'm looking for lack
Mhm.
of a better word, right? Voting canvassing. He went on a hunger strike a few years ago with the taxi driver to help them with when the price of their medallions increased. He went on a hunger strike. He's very proud about his faith and his wife and his life and the things that have brought him to this point. And not to sound too sappy, but like I think that's the whole point of America is like
It's nice to kind of see somebody who's under the age of dust, doing well politically kind of anywhere.
and like looks
But yeah,
like not and maybe not you Eleanor, but like looks like you in the sense of like he looks like the people I hang around with and when I go to a family event and I'm out and about, those are the people I find it easiest to connect with. It's nice to see that face on that sort of platform.
mhm. He looks exactly like me. I don't know why you
That's actually why I liked him
excluded
so
me.
much. Moving
Um,
mundanely on.
moving tyrannically on.
No, I
Um,
think that's a religion.
p 2026 predictions.
I sure would like to know what I predicted for next year.
I need to know what this means. You said rise in mermaid media.
Oh, yes. Okay, so again, I need to find that article. Remember how I always talk about there was an article that said we've shifted from vampire media to Frankenstein media, like zombie, but like
Yes.
mostly Frankenstein media. I think there's going to be a rise in mermaid media. I feel like that's going to be the next trend. I think mermaid, I think we're going to kind of reclaim like, women get demonized for everything they do. We're going to kind
Mhm.
of reclaim that sort of sensual, seductress, and that's going to express itself in the form of more mermaid content.
Okay.
So thinking
I
like
saw
Guillermo del Toro, Little Mermaid sort of vibe. Actually, I'd pay good money
uh,
to see that.
me too. I love that guy when
Just did
he
Frankenstein.
acts
He just directed Frankenstein with Jacob
direct.
Elordi.
Okay.
He did
Sure.
Pan's Labyrinth. He has done some other stuff that I have seen but could not quote to you right now. I think he's involved in the Wednesday show on Netflix, I think. Anyway, I watched his
And I
Cabinet of
believe you
Curiosities on
wholeheartedly.
Netflix. So anyway, just like, dark, like grim fairy tale sort of vibe mermaids.
Okay. I saw somebody on TikTok say that hands will become kind of big in fashion in a similar way that kind of feet were big, like feet weird shoes were kind of big this year. Um I don't remember. I want to say it was Old Loser in Brooklyn, but I could be wrong. Um, but somebody said on TikTok that we would be moving to more like hands, gloves, things like that. And I think that could be fun. I also think it makes sense to go from one appendage to the other. Yes.
That actually just made me think because something I've read yours, the hand thing, and that kind of it gave me an idea, and I didn't put it on there because I feel like this is just a trend in general in terms of like the body types that are popular. You know, like originally, like back in the day, it was like the bigger you were was more attractive because it proved you had wealth. Versus like now we're um idolizing skinniness because it implies a sense of like discipline and wealth that like you need those things in order to be skinny, right? All of that said to say, I think this is not like a novel idea because it's been happening for years, but your hands becoming popular maybe think of like henna or things of that nature. So I feel like white people are going to reclaim or actually I think you put this on the slide, Christopher Columbus, henna and things of that nature.
Okay.
Henna, hand
See, I
tattoos,
I agree.
long
I said
acrylics,
that what'd you
like
say? Sorry?
long nails. But
Oh.
like kind of like when like Cardi B has long nails, everyone thinks it's bad and trashy, but we're gonna Christopher
Mm.
Columbus it.
I said that white people are going to try to Christopher Columbus arranged marriage. And I think we're going to kind of see a death to the situationship, kind of in a similar way to where kind of everything is leaning a little bit more conservative. I think marriage will kind of continue to become more and more desirable. Um and I think the tide is going to be turning on situationships. And I would not be surprised if young women started to get more into abstinence in 2026. Um,
I'm not mad about death to situationship. I just don't like the possible shift to. I feel like we're gonna see a lot of like short, for lack of a better word, courting periods. Like people are gonna date for a lot less time. Like we're gonna get really Mormon about it. You know?
I almost said that. I feel like we're gonna get really like fundamental Christian like proper courtships, which probably like isn't the right way to go. Maybe it's right for some people, but I think it's gonna get like weird and crazy.
The thing is, like, I like the idea of like that sort of intention behind
Mhm.
things and patience. Like I know they get married quickly, but like patience in terms of normal stages of a relationship and like normal things you do, like normal landmarks in a relationship. But it is always tied to like a weird level of shame and exclusion.
I think it's I think it's very weird when people have like a lot of the similar like hangups and shames that I have because like people who aren't religious have them because I can trace a lot of mine back to like growing up religious and church culture. And so it's very weird when people have like similar things, but they were not raised in the church. And I'm like, did you just really make that up for yourself? Like, what happened
Looked
here
like that?
to make you like this?
Yeah.
Uh, Miss Kalina,
Yes.
how many months out of 12 do you give 2025?
Are we basing this off of the things we've discussed or just in general, like personally? I can give you
Um,
both.
Give me
Okay,
both,
in
yeah.
terms of
Like do like media wise and
okay,
then
media wise, I would give 2025 a 5. I don't think it's entirely fair, but I'll give it actually it's out of 12. Okay, we'll give it a 6 months out of 12. I don't think it's entirely fair because I'm not super like I said in the loop, but I do think I think as this, while there's been a rise in these things we've talked about like these parasocial relationships and conservatism and all that stuff, I do think there's also been a rise in people recognizing and addressing those things. So I feel like we're at like a very we're at like a crossroads. So I could see it going either way. So
Mhm,
I'll give it 6 months out of 12. For me personally, I do think this year has been a 4 months out of 12. Had just a lot of rough stuff
mhm.
happen personally, but it wasn't. And it's not that the year was bad for me. I just definitely have had better years. So
Yeah, I agree with the 6 out of 12. You said, yeah, good job.
thanks.
Uh, personally, personally, I think a 5 out of 12. Um, not the best, not the worst.
I've had worse times.
Could have been. I've had worse times in my life. I have had better times.
We got to see each
One
other
point
twice this year,
that
so
is
that kind
true.
of gave
You
it two
did
whole
great
months out
on
of
that
12. You
front.
know, for me.
Uh, but yeah, I'm looking forward to um
I'm looking forward to turning 27 next year for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that that was next year. Oh, that'll be so much fun. Kalina's gonna throw a rager, and none of you are invited except for maybe me.
Actually, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to next year. Is turning 27. I can play water polo again sometime next year, and I'm not looking forward to this, but I do think it will be fun. My brother will be 21, and he's very excited about that. Oh,
Ooh,
and I would like to go to Morocco. So manifesting that one.
okay. I'll come party with your brother on his birthday and maybe go to Morocco with
Perfect.
you. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you. Uh, join us next year for more takes on movies and media and
Actually, I
more.
think it is next year when you're seeing this. So join us this year. We've been doing this for a while. It's the highlight of my week every week.
Mhm.
And oh, actually, I didn't write this down. My 2026 prediction is that don't quote me on that will blow up. I swear I wrote that down.
Oh, you did. I just didn't see it.
Yeah, don't quote me on that will become the number one podcast in America. I'll take number
Okay,
5.
we're setting our sights small, just America.
I was actually gonna say the number one podcast in